Well, hello to everyone out there, and Bill. Hello to you, Bill.
Hi, Kevin. It's always the smoothest opening.
Well, we're professionals.
You're like a newly hatched chick. Every time we come, it's like, well, hello.
I don't think I've ever been
You're like
compared to a new hatched chick.
The egg is just cracked open. Well, hi. Like, where have you been?
Where's everybody been? As the title of this show indicated, All Good Things, which, by the way, Bill, did you ever watch Star Trek Next Generation?
No.
Okay, it's really good.
I'm not a Trekker or a Trekkie.
It's a Trekkie. The last episode is entitled All Good Things. So, but as the title of our show indicates, this is the series finale, as we say in the biz. We covered that actually once, but after 3 seasons, I almost said long seasons. That's not true, but after 3 seasons, and I was counting up today, and I think it shocked both of us. 45 episodes.
Lots of laughs, man.
YouTube,
Facebook. Done the bulk of the work. I mean, hats off to you. You've done all the figuring. I sit here and you just tell me where to go, and you send me links for this thing. And you used to come to my house, and we used to like set up like a studio up in my bonus room, and then we'd shoot a couple, and then we'd go and have lunch.
Yeah, and then you would say, and then I would leave, and you'd say, "Hey, try this beer."
Yeah, and I'd give you a
porter to
try when you got home. Yeah, not for on the road.
That was always don't. But this is actually going to be our big finale, and we're just going to tell you right now, in case you want to turn off. We don't have a lot planned, but we're just going to talk about like the last 3 seasons and some stuff like that. So let's get into this and let's roll this amazing open.
I think that was actually, you always talk about it. So I think that was actually footage of our high school band conductor.
Yeah, there we go.
What was the band teacher there?
Mr. Antsy Pants.
Yeah.
But I am Kevin Colby.
I am Bill Jordan.
And like we said earlier, this is the series finale of Two Guys Talking About. So we appreciate you guys being along for the ride, whatever time you came along for the ride. If you want to pop in and say hey. Hey. And the show will still be there. The episodes will still be there. We've still got the YouTube channel, Two Guys Talking About, the Facebook page, Two Guys Talking About. I don't think we uploaded any to the podcast after season 1, but it's still out there as well in podcast land.
And what I should have done, and I failed to do it this past weekend, I should have lifted the one we did for Mother's Day last year and just posted it. I could have reposted it for Mother's Day.
That was very good. That was very good.
Jimmy Dean, the old IOU thing from Jimmy Dean.
45
yeah.
shows. Now, let me ask you a question. How long were you on morning radio? Like 30 years?
Well, I was in radio just shy of 40. I did mornings for 32 and a half years.
Do you remember my buddy Scott Ayers watching the show for the first time on your last show?
Just in time.
By the way, let me give you a little plug to Scott here. So, and we'll get back to your story here in just a second. So, Scott is a content scientist with Agorapulse, big company into data for social media and stuff like that. And I interviewed him for my YouTube channel, and that's going to run in a few weeks. So Scott, thanks for being here for our last show.
Hey, Scott, if you need a narrator for something, a voiceover guy.
Who you talking about? Me?
I know a guy. I know a guy.
So you did morning radio though for
32 years.
How many shows do you think you did?
Oh, I've never done that. I've thought about doing that math, but that would be a lot of math. You got to figure, weeks off for vacation and weekends off, but obviously thousands.
Goodness. Did you ever get to a point where you're like, what am I going to talk about today?
There was always something, and I think that this
Just between us.
actually occurred to me the other day. Why I am, and I'm working on this admitted addiction to social media. It is from the fire I had in me, the fuel that drove content creation doing morning radio, where we would have 20 to 22 talk breaks a morning. And you had to have a pretty good idea what you were going to talk about. So I was looking at everything. I was looking at, you and I've talked when we've gone out to lunch. Maybe there's something weird on the menu I can talk about. Well, there's not. So I'm looking at everything. I prowl bookstores. There's not that many, stand-up bookstores anymore. But when I am in the neighborhood of Barnes and Noble, I really miss Borders. But when I feel like there's something I'm missing. So I have that, what they call it, FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
The fear of missing out. Yes, it's very real. And that's why I just sometimes, if I get on scrolling on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, what have you, I can get lost for a long time because I feel like there's something I'm missing. There's something I want to know that's out there, and I don't know what it is yet. So, no, I don't. There were some days when it was like I knew it wasn't clicking as far as on the air.
Yeah.
But there were too many days where we didn't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
There's always something to talk about.
Well, and my gut would be, I've been on radio too, but nothing to the length and the success of you. I don't think I would consider weekends and driving around in the van doing traffic and fill in and overnights the same. But I think you were in a period of time, correct me if I'm wrong, where you were in radio too, especially mornings where you could talk and entertain and do things. And, my last run in radio for a great radio station here in Raleigh, I had a blast, but it was, I think my last show, I counted up the talk minutes and it was less than I think 2 for the hour, because it was all about, talking over this intro, talking over this music bed and pushing the music forward. And look, it's a format that works and it works for them. But outside of mornings, it was hard to have that personality go.
Right. And I decided that early on in my career, back in the mid 70s, that I thought if I'm going to last in this business, I've got to get to mornings. Because after mornings, after 10 a.m. or so, they're trying to shut you up. In fact, after 9 a.m. Sometimes. So
that was what was really like your catalyst of trying to do mornings.
I wanted to do mornings. That's where the guys I really admired, that's where they worked. Either that or nighttime guys. Back in the day, now they're shutting everybody up.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of weird in this period of where everything is on demand. And we've all got our smartphones or devices or whatever, and Bluetooth in the car and everything, where you can play literally whatever music you want to play. Why they are shutting up air talent or radio talent now and then playing what they think you want to hear.
Yeah.
The only thing that they can't get is the personality.
Yeah.
So they're shutting the personality up and hoping they get the music right. Well, I don't care what you're picking for me for music. I know how to pick my own music. Give me somebody on the radio that makes me laugh, think, or cry. That's all.
It's one of the reasons I'm not a big Pandora fan anymore, because I'd go to Pandora and I'd say, hey, I want to listen to Eric Church. So I'd go to Eric Church radio. And an hour later, I'd be like, what channel was I on? Because I haven't heard, it. And
I do that too with Pandora. I'll say, I've got Jimmy Buffett radio. I'll have 70s radio. I'll have whatever. And invariably, within 3 songs, Creedence Clearwater Revival will pop up.
And probably only 1 or 2.
It doesn't matter the format.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the things that I loved about this format when we were doing the show is that, we've usually had a topic going in, and people would say, well, what are you talking about? And it'd be like, well, we're going to talk about like you were looking it up earlier. One of the shows that really popped for you was the men's fashion.
Believe it or not, Kevin and I talked about men's fashion and why there is a need for cargo pants.
And why neither one of us
on the list of every list of what men should not wear is cargo pants. I don't care about your little list. I need a place for my stuff.
I love cargo pants. It's kind of like maybe the a man's version of a woman's purse that he
That's
can wear.
exactly what it is. You look at a woman's purse, or better yet, don't. Marianne will say, "Oh, it's right there in my purse." I just bring her the purse. You can find it. I'm not sticking my hand down in there.
My mother, who I can share this story because she doesn't have the Facebook or internet. She, I'm pretty sure she has everything she's ever had in her purse since she had her first purse, including the original box of Luden's cough drops. The only cough drop box, the only box I've ever seen that after you take the cellophane wrap off and after you open the flap, they tell you how to open the box.
That's good stuff. Well, anyway, yeah, we talked about that. We talked about dads and moms. We talked about it. We did a show about DNA kits and our heritage. And
Yes.
I found out
You're a Viking.
through my brother's DNA test that I've got Scandinavian in me. I have never known that. So of
I
course,
never knew Bill was a Viking.
I go right to Viking. I go right to Viking because I want to go to that. We talked about books on one, and then we found out that Kevin doesn't read.
No.
Kevin reads magazines, or excuse me, comic books.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, but you don't read books. We talked about lawn maintenance. Kevin
hang on.
doesn't mow the lawn.
Let's
Kevin
go back to the
doesn't-
book thing.
Kevin
What we
doesn't
did
do lawn.
establish is if I have the option of reading the book or watching the movie, why in the world would I do both? I'm going to watch the movie every time because here's the thing. It could take me months to read a book. I mean, months. Maybe even longer. And if I do that and the book sucks, I'm like, look at how much time I've wasted. Movie, if it's no good, I'm done in an hour and a half. I can get a good nap in.
99% of the time, the book is better than the movie. We talked about pets, and Kevin's coming over here and been attacked by my two dogs numerous times. We did a great one about movies that make men cry.
Yes.
And there's a lot of movies that make guys cry. And I think as we get a little older, when the testosterone leaves us at a rate of 1% to 2% a year, I'm down to about 7 drops left of testosterone for myself. I can only say that. So there's lots of movies that make us cry now. Pet peeves, that's always a big one. We did a great one about pet peeves.
We had so many. We did like
reading.
Yeah. Didn't we do 2 of them because we had so many pet peeves?
There's so many.
Yeah, it's that was good. But and I go back to what started. Well, I don't know if it's what started it, but just for some context. So Bill did mornings for years at Mix 101.5 WRAL-FM in Raleigh. And then I was at the Fox 50 at Fox 50, the Fox station in Raleigh. And so our company owned both stations, but I don't think that's how we started working together. I think it was probably through promotions that Fox had, and we were working with you guys, and Bill and I just kind of hit it off. And then we both found out that we were huge fans of the show 24. And I was going to say stop us if you've heard this before, but it's our show. We're going to talk about it. And so I think what happened is we came up with the idea to do a 2 guys talking about 24.
You're the brainchild of all this stuff that we've done. This has all been your ideas. I just come along for the ride. You do all the technical stuff, and I just show up when you tell me to show up.
Didn't we do it when I tell you exactly what we did. We did it for the last season when Kiefer came back. And it was Live Another Day. That's what it was. And we shot it at Farmers Market Restaurant.
Yep, in Raleigh.
And we would go there and we'd have our notes and talk about it. And it was great. It was Chris. It was Chris. Chris is like, yep, got you hooked on 24. I would still put it up there as one of my favorite shows of all time.
Chris came by and saw us one time at the farmer's market.
Yes. Yeah. But that's how we started. And now
we also had a crew. You remember we had 2 guys there videoing us.
Yeah. And right now,
through the company. So now we're either by cell phone or Kevin's got this hooked up through the computers.
And if you're watching this right now, this is the crew.
This is it.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because I forgot about that. And that was when we would have they would come and set up the cameras and the lights and the mics, and we'd show up and we'd do our thing, and then they would go back and edit it because at that point, I mean, that was years ago. But even going live now is completely different than what it was then.
And you could expense breakfast,
which we did every week. Kevin, do you want the small biscuit or the big? I'll take the large biscuit.
It's the size of his head.
The size of my head. Oh, but that was good food. And then after that, I think we enjoyed that. Jim Kelly joined us for one show. I think the finale. Jim Kelly does afternoons on Mix 101.5. Good friend, and also a 24 fan. And so we had him on. Actually, he filled in, I think, a couple of times. So we we'll do 2.5 Men. We're talking about 24.
It's a unique title.
He was good. And then I think we were always looking for other things to do. And then Legacy came back. 24 Fox tried it with Legacy because, just like Hollywood, let's not just let a good idea go off into the sunset. Let's just beat it to death.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and we both had the same conclusion early on, like, wow, this is just not very good, but let's go ahead and finish the run. And then it was just like looking for other things to do. And we were like, what if we just do our own show? We can live stream it. And even as we started doing this for the season 1, how much it's evolved. Like you said, the first season we did this, we would go to your house, set it up, and shoot a whole month's worth at a time. And then just edit the snot out of it and run it. And then after a while, I was like, we're both used to doing live. Let's just go live.
Yeah.
Something about live. There's something about live that you can't get on just doing it taped.
Back when I was in radio and we would record promos for like the next day. Hey, listen, tomorrow morning, we're going to be doing this. We'd botch it and screw it up and screw it up and screw it up when we were recording. Then we'd crack the mic and go live and be flawless. I don't know what it is to it. It's just like there's some adrenaline dump that I don't know, kicks in, and you just tend to get it right more often than not when you're doing it live versus recorded.
Well, and what I do now for my business is I'm a video creator and coach, and have and do my own video marketing business. And one of the things I try and tell folks though is that when you're doing taped video, go into it thinking it's live, because you get so comfortable. I'll just redo it again. I didn't like the way I said that. And now, grant, some things you have to get, if you're spouting facts or something, you do a lot of voiceover work. You can't just like wing it, but
sounds like I do sometimes. I make up words, I add words, take words out.
But, I tell you, so Bill has an absolute amazing voice, wouldn't you say? Absolutely amazing. And
thank you.
And I know, and of course I've known Bill does. I've known Bill does voice work, right? And then all of a sudden one night I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, Lisa, that's Bill. And I think it was the tractor spot.
Coyote Tractor.
Yeah, it was.
That was a big deal. That was my biggest job thus far. That was a 21 market job for radio and television. Ran during all the ACC football and basketball games there a couple of years ago.
Talking about live.
Huge.
So Scott is saying, I'm totally the same when I'm recording a video to be edited. I screw up a lot. Same with I have a script off the cuff. I'm so much better. And yeah, Dave is saying a lot of directed improv and voice over. Is a lot of directed improv over, by the way? I'm not sure I get that question. I wonder if he's saying, and Dave, if I got this wrong, let me know, is that do you get to improv as much, or is it more scripted? Bill, that would be for you. I'll let you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No, the voiceover work I get is scripted. Now, some of it you'll make a contraction out of something, especially if you really got a motor through it. So instead of saying "we will be there for you," because all the spots are now saying "we're here for you." So instead of saying "we are here for you," if you're really jammed for time, you're just going to make it "we're here for you." I mean, that's just an example. I mean, that's not ad-libbing really at all, but that's about the gist of how much leeway we've got, or at least that I've had. So there's not a whole lot of it.
Dave's saying that's not what he said at all. So
okay, so I didn't think Dave would ask that question.
Dave, I'm sorry I butchered it. So Matt is saying you remind me of my uncle. I hope he's talking about you. You look just like him. That's crazy. He wasn't a good guy. He had an affair with my sister. Dead serious. You seem like a good dude.
What's your sister's name?
Sorry, that's a sad.
I know that's sad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
too bad we're alive now. We can't erase that.
Yeah, oh, what? And that reminds me of another problem. Okay, so here, Dave is saying it's expected for the talent to come in and do the voiceover. The director will give you the notes, but you need to improve with those boundaries. Yeah, improv instead of improving, you'll have it. Yeah. So, one of the things that I get a lot is people, when you start talking to them about going live, they're so afraid of messing up. Well, what if I make a mistake? I mean, there's two things that, what if nobody's watching? And let me tell you, you always do, if you ever get into live streaming, you always do it as if somebody's watching, because a lot of video live stream is watched back later on replay. In fact, it's typically more on replay than live. From everything I've seen. If Scott is still watching, let me know if that's accurate or not. But as big as a live stream can be, most shows are most videos are watched far more in replay than live. But a lot of folks are just scared. It's like, so what I was going to say is that, if you're doing it and like you just feel like nobody's watching or commenting, you still do the best you can. But if you're afraid to go live because you're afraid you may make a mistake, yeah, you probably will. Something's going to happen. And I think since we've been going live, every mistake has been my fault.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, so if you go back to season 2, and by the way, we don't delete any of our shows, which after you watch several of them, you might go, really?
Oh, you missed what was the word you said incorrectly? I mean, you had me in the floor. I don't know. I've let that.
So it was after the NCAA tournament last year, and we were congratulating. Was it Virginia or Virginia Tech?
Who was it that you called them something?
It's not the Who's. Yeah,
they are the Who's, but you called them something else. You didn't call them the Hoes, did you?
I did, because somebody said go Who's, and I popped the comment up and I read it go Hose. And Bill goes, "It's not, it's Who's." And I think for the next 5 minutes, Bill was, I think all you see is his head where he's laughing so hard, and he finally got composure, and then he lost it again. Oh, it was, and so I had to apologize to the entire campus. It was
entire state.
It's not entire state, and even states that bordered it. But the other time was though when I think it was season 2, we decided, hey, we're going to go live now. Like I said, Bill's done live, I've done live, and you get used to it. So we were like, we were using a new, when I go live, I use StreamYard and Ecamm. And right now we're using Ecamm. I'm sorry, we're using StreamYard to do this. And then when I do my Friday show at 10 o'clock on YouTube, if you want to watch, every Friday, 10 a.m. on YouTube, I go live. I forgot which one we were using, but I said, hey, we need to test this before we go live next week. And by the way, Richard checking in saying, hi guys. And hi Richard, thank you for being here. And so we decided, hey, we need to test it before we go live next week. Just make sure everything, works and stuff like that. So we go live thinking it's not public. And at the time, I didn't realize you couldn't do a private only. On Facebook, you can do an only me or private. And so we're just chatting away. We're got the phones out, we're taking selfies, and yakking away. And we'd been on for 10 minutes or so. And all of a sudden, boop, he pops up and goes, hey guys. And I'm like, Bill.
Yeah. How did they do that?
We're We're live. So, and the irony to that is, and here's the lesson for anybody out there worried about making a mistake on live, whatever, online. That remained for the longest time our most engaged show.
People love that.
People love it.
People love watching. Look at blooper reels and stuff. They call them blooper reels. You know,
Yeah.
after movies or something, they'll run. I mean, people love them when they see the people that are kind of goofing around. To our credit, I think, though, Kevin, you nor I were going to say anything, you know, grotesquely inappropriate. That's just generally not who we are. So
Yeah.
we did luck out in that regard. There was nothing said or done that we would be, you know, it would be on the internet forever.
Let me tell you about my former boss. Yeah, that one we would have we'd have deleted that one. But
yeah, the way, you know, but the other thing too, I mean, that's another point to ponder, and politicians have found this out the hard way. A lot of people have. If you're placed in front of a microphone, it is live.
Yeah,
it's kind of like if you handle guns. Every gun is loaded. Every microphone is hot.
Yeah.
And you will do well to remember that. And I've messed that up. I have learned that lesson the hard way. Microphones are hot.
Yeah. But it's one of the things. So, you know, if there's something that you guys get from this show today is that, you know, if you have an idea, let me back up. There's never been a better time to create content. There just hasn't. I mean, if you think about it, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world, huge platform, free, Facebook free, Instagram free, Twitter free, TikTok free. I mean, go on and on and on. So if you have a passion, you have a hobby, you have a business, it is so much easier to have access to that. But with that comes the responsibility and the fact that, you know, first of all, there's a lot of haters. I shouldn't say there are haters and trolls out there, and it's just the way it's going to be.
There are people whose default setting is the negative.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. And I've gotten much better. I am not perfect. I'm not batting 1,000 with it, but I see, and we've talked about this, I'll see on my Facebook notifications, so-and-so and so-and-so has made a comment on your post. And my first thought is, what is it this time? And I've come close to blocking a few people because of that, because it's always negative, or it's always a hijacking of a post to make it mean something that I didn't mean. And I will hide those posts typically. If it gets really bad or something, then I will maybe block somebody or not follow them back or something. But there are people, and it's sad that they default to a negative or trying to stir up trouble. Yeah. And just learn to accept that. It just is.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So, you know, if you are thinking about getting into video, if you're thinking about getting or a podcast or something like that, and the best thing you can do is just try it and give it a shot and put it out there. If you're only shooting it on your phone and you never release it, nobody will ever know. And again, that goes for video or audio. Obviously, video is my world and my background. But you're going to make mistakes. And the thing about live is it can actually make the production somewhat easier. I know if you watch many of our shows, it feels like we're just kind of winging it. A lot of times we are going loose, but we have an idea going in, because it's just better to say, hey, here's the topic we want to talk about. Here's some of the things we're going to share. But beyond that, we don't want it to be overly scripted, because for this type of show, we just kind of like the back and forth.
Well, here's my analogy to that. And I used to work with a young lady years ago, and she didn't have quite that much experience. So I should have been more understanding, and I wasn't. That's on me. But she would say, okay, now what are we going to say? What are you going to say? And what do you want me to say back? And then what are you going to say after that? And then what am I going to say? And it's like, look, I don't come to you on Monday morning before we go on the air and go, hey, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. When I come back, I'm going to ask you how your weekend was.
Mm-hmm.
In normal conversation. We just have a normal conversation, right? You pick up the phone. You don't know if somebody's on the phone. What are you going to talk about? You don't know. You just go with it. And so that's kind of what we have done, given a parameter of, okay, we're going to talk today. We're going to talk about Mother's Day, or we're going to talk about, lawn maintenance or what, fun stuff like that. We have a guideline, but a lot of this, because it is the internet, and you really don't have a whole lot of rules about that. Now, if you get onto YouTube, they've got some rules about what they say they tolerate and what they don't, and it doesn't take much digging around to see that they're not very consistent, or they're pretty hypocritical about what they say they will and won't accept.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, and if you're afraid to try because you're afraid you're going to fail, the true failure is not trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
You failed right there. If you're afraid to try, then you have failed.
So all I know is that I've enjoyed doing the 3 seasons with Bill, and the beauty is Bill and I live fairly close enough that we can still hang out and do things, and of course have been able to for a bit, but that will change soon. And we do appreciate you guys being here on Facebook or YouTube, or even, if you listen to the first season on the podcast, we appreciate it. The shows will still be around. The Two Guys Talking About YouTube channel is still there. The Facebook page will be there, and they're getting it on podcast. But Bill, I've enjoyed it.
Man, I've had a blast. And by the way, if you are watching this, and if you need somebody to bounce something off of creatively, Kevin's the guy. He is a national award-winning creative director while he was here at the Fox affiliate in Raleigh. And all this technical stuff, he's always posting stuff about the best way to make your videos look better on your iPhone, and tips about this and that. He's always got some tips for me about driving my website or my Facebook page. So he's the king of the creatives as far as the guys that I know, and he's a great guy character-wise as well. And so you put your contacts up here, Kevin, somewhere if somebody needs to contact you. So that would be great. But it's been a blast, man.
Well, and again, I'll toot Bill's horn. I mean, if from a standpoint of voice work and creativity, holy cow, you guys need to check out Bill and his whole new thing he's launched, Embrace the Boom, which is phenomenal. Get your cup. There you go. And I think you've got a few more, right? If somebody,
I got a garage full. And this is just, just in a nutshell, if I can hijack our own video. Embrace the Boom. The boom references baby boomers. We've taken a lot of heat here lately, a little flack from millennials and stuff. Okay, boomer. Well, the boomers have a little bit of experience, and we've got a little bit of life wisdom to us now. And I love the idea of being a mentor to some. And there are some younger people who may come to me for some advice, or at least maybe not advice, but just some insight as to what they may be experiencing. And I may know a thing or two, and Kevin knows a thing or two as well. We have lived life, and it's hard to live life and not learn something.
That's true.
See, it seems there are people, though, that have managed to do that. So Embrace the Boom.
Make a career out of it.
Is regardless of how old we are now, that there's positives to it. And there are certainly challenges to getting older, but this is just kind of my anchor in the morning. When I load this thing up with plenty of strong, dark, black coffee, this is my anchor in the day to remind myself to be positive and to embrace the boom. And I've got a little page, Bill Jordan, embracetheboom.com.
Check it out.
Direct links to it's honestly my take on ancient philosophy and some of the things that we've always heard, like the golden rule. I add a little bit something to that. There's 15 of those, and I think when I practice them, I tend to have a better life, and hopefully you will too.
Now, just for example, I mean, you're not saying you wrote the golden rule.
No. But I've got another way of looking at it.
Okay.
It's not just be nice to each other.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
It's not just when we say do unto others as you would have them do unto you. There is more to it than just being nice.
That is true. I agree. And Bill, you are a phenomenal dude.
Man, thank you. But this is that iron sharpens iron thing.
That's true.
If I'm a good guy, it's because of hanging out with guys like you and other friends and family members, male and female, and you likewise. So, you know what? One of the things, and this has gotten me as a little bit older, when someone calls me, and when they are not, but someone says, "Hey, brother, what's going on?" That's one of the best compliments I can.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So you are like a brother to me, and one big happy family here. So yeah, iron sharpens iron.
Well, listen, for we appreciate you guys, whether it was the first time watching this or the last time or I was going to say you've
Or
never.
both.
Or both. Or both.
First and last.
For some of it. But we appreciate you guys being here and being a part of this. So I was going to say for the last time, but my name will be this after that. But I'm Kevin Colby.
I'm Bill Jordan.
And we're the two guys talking about. We'll see you.